Hello, and welcome to the second episode of my new YouTube channel, which is an offshoot of Reaching Dream Fulfillment. And this is the second interview for the YouTube channel Goal Fulfillment. Goal Fulfillment has two main parts. I interview entrepreneurs and I preview my future life coaching that I do, focusing on goal setting. And also there's something that has to do with relationships, but you'll find out about that pretty soon. And there'll be interviews with that, and there'll be another preview of another Zoom program that I'll have. And here you'll get a good basic, the structure, kind of the main structure that puts together this whole goal program. So, not me as much. I have my own way of setting goals, but a lot of people set their goals to the new year. And that's kind of how we measure. And we look back and where we were in this year and that year. And the first part of this program that I'm showing for free is meeting in the beginning of the year and asking some deep questions about people and the goals that they have for the year. So setting a basis, and there's 18 questions that will help really think critically about these goals and help set these goals. Then, just like sports, what do? You have a game plan. So the game plan here is the goals that people have at the beginning of the year. And then we work towards those goals. And, life is not always perfect, and things will work, things don't work. But we do not think negatively when things do not work, because we're learning lessons, we're getting information. Just like a scientist gets information when they're trying to a new discovery or a new invention, things work, things don't work. So what does a sports team do at the beginning? Before you play the game, there's a lot of plays that are put into the playbook. And in this case, the plays are the goals that we're trying to achieve. Then in the middle of the year, we meet again and see what's working and not working and make some adjustments. Just like a sports team, they have the game plan. Obviously, it's to win the game and how they're going to go with the strengths that they have. They have strengths and weaknesses. Every team has strengths and weaknesses, and every person has strengths and weaknesses. And we try to utilize our strengths, of course. And then at halftime, they look at what's working in the basketball game or the football game. The plays are working and the plays are not working, and make adjustments. Things will go wrong. A certain player hurt their knee and they can't play anymore. Somebody's off. Somebody keeps on fumbling the football. There's all these adjustments. And just like this, we meet again in June, and I have 4 people previewing the program. And in June, we make those halftime adjustments and help make the halftime adjustments. And then hopefully come up with a good game plan and guide to have an ultimate victory at the end of the year when the buzzer does ring. And then hopefully my goal is to help guide people through their goals, and then the lessons that they learn, and then they can take those lessons into the new year. And then the other part, when this program is ready, there's the main part that I'm previewing, and then there will be weekly calls in the paid program. There'll be weekly calls, and then each month we'll have a goal lesson for that month. So that will be a 2-part thing. First, what's working, not working, and kind of checking in, and the other part, some goal lessons from different things that I've developed and others. So that's a basic thing. At this point, before I ask the questions, Aldo, could you introduce yourself? I know that you So first, your background and the journey that you're going into and the transition that you're going into.
Great. No, thanks for that. And that's a great summary of what we are all dealing with, in life, right? Yeah. So my name is Aldo Solares. I'm based in New York City. Throughout my life, I lived in Arizona for a little while, in Chicago, but now I'm back in New York City. A lot of that has to do with career and so on. But my background is in finance and investments. It's what I studied for in college. It's something that I've always wanted to. I always had a dream of working on Wall Street. So I've worked for many years for big banks in different positions, mostly in investment banking, risk management, trading as well. Over the years, I've always wanted to trade commodities. Believe it or not, I traded environmental products, so such as rights to emit sulfur dioxide and NOx, but that's a different conversation. But the main thing is I got my background is much more in finance, operations, trading, and eventually over the years, my career has shifted my background experience more into electronic trading. So you can actually buy and sell stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities electronically. And now over the years, that's even become a larger, has made a bigger impact on trading and the way banks run and the way banks are managed and the way they make money as well. So lastly, I've been dealing with algorithms, trading algorithms. So these algorithms are basically a set of instructions where you can buy and sell, products as well, and at lightning speed to make money in the end. So overall, my background is finance investments, and that's where I'm at right now. So things are moving really quick. You need to be on your toes at all times. You got to be not only managing your career but also managing your life. So there's a lot of lessons learned over the years as well. And then over the years, I also, while I'm working, I've also met a lot of people throughout my career. People that are in high school and college, transitioning into their career on Wall Street. And then once they're in within the bank, then I actually help them transition from where they are to the next step to get promoted, what things they need to do, how to become a manager, how to become a leader as well. So and also I've also helped people in their lives in terms of they go through some life situation. I kind of give them advice on that. I've had my own things going on, so I've learned plenty of lessons. And the main thing is like people that you meet throughout life, I always think, what can I do to help them, help themselves and help others as well. So overall, finance investments, I look at it as mentorship, leadership training, and just education overall. So that's kind of like my background right now. I'm at a point in the sense that I look back and I'm thinking like, what else can I do? Is there an opportunity to utilize everything that I've learned over the years? Maybe there's something else that I can do. I think right now I decided to accumulate or write down all the lessons learned in life, where it comes to like managing money, managing career, managing personal life, relationships, and so on. And I've written a book, still in draft mode. I'm writing a book, and I'm thinking like, this book is great for someone who's young, who's a young professional who wants to do the right thing in life, wants to make quality decisions in life. This is kind of like a book that they should read. And so that's one idea. At the same time, I'm thinking like, sometimes people don't want to read a book. Maybe they just want to take a training program where they can actually, I can actually take that book and convert that into some type of digital training program where the person can actually take this training program. There'll be some calls to actions, and those calls to actions, when you combine them across all the other training programs, they'll be able to put together kind of like a life book. And that life book is a life plan. And then they'll be able to live a life that will be fully focused on, delivering excellence in everything that they do, not just career, not just finances, but also personal life, their health, their family, their friendships. So that's actually the goal, is something that I want to do. So that's kind of like where I'm at now. I'm thinking like, what can I do here to do this? I don't see anything out there that's helping people the way at least I think they should be helped, and then specifically for young people, because I want, you know, young people are still fresh, right? They haven't made those major mistakes that adults make sometimes. You know, they are still prime, you know, and sometimes they may not have that mentor in their life. Sometimes, you know, their parents are there, but they're too busy, or things are going on, or the main thing is like they need somebody independent that they can actually always count on and talk to and run ideas by. And I'm thinking like an idea of a mentor, you know, and that mentor doesn't have to be someone in local school or a job. It could be someone across the other side of the world. So maybe there's an opportunity here. So that's kind of like where I am. I'm developing the product, developing the idea, trying things out, getting feedback from different people. What can I do here? So, because things are moving fast. We're in a digital world now, you know, and people can actually lose themselves as well. Sometimes you got to really you don't have a chance to really get to know who you are as a person yet. And when you're young, you're still learning these lessons. So what I want to do is to prevent them from making decisions that can have a long-term impact in a negative way. I'd rather have them fully informed, so that when they do make these decisions, they make the best decisions, and they can live a quality life. So that's kind of like where I am right now. You know, I'm like, I'm 50 years old now, actually 51. And so I feel like I've learned a lot of lessons, and I want to share this at the same time, not just one or two people or three people, but it would be great to help, you know, hundreds, thousands of people, and even millions of people. Everything works out well. So that's kind of like where I am, more of a transition mode, but that's a summary overall.
Yeah, thank you for that. I see a couple of things. The first thing I'll say is there's so many of the topics that you mentioned, they're not touched at all when we're going through regular school.
Mm.
No matter how high we go into regular education, those topics aren't being hit. And I'm seeing that one of your main motivations and drives right now is legacy, that you want to leave something behind.
That's very true. I mean,
Your gift to the world. Your gift to
yeah,
the world.
definitely. That's kind of like what I want to do, in the sense that what a buddy of mine, he didn't reach retirement yet. I think he's like 59, 60, and he's been working at the company for a very long time, and eventually almost 30 years. He's in finance, but then one of the things he said on his last day is a work, and he was let go and things like that. But the main thing, one of the things is like, yes, I've made money, I'm successful, you know, I've put my kids to school, I'm healthy. He went down the whole list of the good things, but he says in the end, I feel like I haven't done anything, like I haven't built anything, you know. And one of the things he's done, which was interesting, was he actually took a look at his house. He actually built a door. You know, he built a door, he sculpted and with the wood and measured it and then fitted it, and he's proud of that. He's proud of the door. You know, like the things he's done in his career is all finance. You can't touch. It's not material. You know, that it's not physical. You can't touch it. You know, it's not like you build a building. It's like, oh, I built that. You know, I painted that. You know, I sung this song. I invented this. I created something. So if he felt like that, like relatively empty, but so he built this door, and he was really proud of that door. And so I don't want to feel that. You know, I want to be able to say, you know, kind of like when we, you know, on our last day, you know, right before we leave this earth, for a whole bunch of people to surround me and say, oh man, this guy, great person, he made a difference in my life, you know, thank you, you know, because you are way better off. And I think that would be awesome, you know. So yeah, legacy is key word.
Yeah, and it's cool when you can actually see a physical representation. That's what that door represents.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
did.
interesting that it's a door, right? You know, because that door is going to open for what, right? It's you can actually keep it closed, or so there's a lot of symbolism in what he built.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't see that at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I could open a door to something. Yeah, something else.
Yeah, so maybe he is building something, you know, and maybe like it had to take, you know, 30 years of just doing something like wasn't fulfilling, at least that he wasn't aware. And then, you know, he had to reach, maybe he's going to go through his transition as well and realize, what can I do? So hopefully that's his journey.
The first part. So now I'm going to ask you questions about your goals for 2021.
Okay.
So it starts off with the most basic you can think of. And the most basic is, what are your goals for 2021?
2021. So right now I'm in transition. So I have a career. I'm working for a bank. And I would like to start this project in a major way and just take for that project to take off. So goal number one is maintain the job, continue to work there. Goal number two is continue developing the product to a point that it becomes a finished product, a relatively finished product that I can actually sell it, right? So I need to get a list of clients. The first goal in Q1 is to gain 20 clients. If I can get 20 clients, that will be kind of like my first pilot of the product, and once I'm done with that first 20 clients, I'll be able to get that feedback and refine the product, be able to, adjust and say, well, this is what works. I'll leave this. We want more of this other thing, or we want less of this. So I'll be able to adjust. So the goal for Q1 is to have, proof of concept, pilot, the pilot to go live, launch it that way, get that feedback. Q2 is to expand it, potentially go to 40 clients, and then eventually by Q3, be able to repeat the product again, sell the product again to a larger audience, and then Q4 to sell it again. So at the end of every so it's the actual course itself is 8 to 10 weeks. I'm still working on the actual timing, is to actually deliver that product 4 times this year. Q1 will be much more pilot. Q2, Q3, I'll look to see like how much income I can actually make out of it, get some marketing, get some partners, and be able to expand it to multiple by the end of Q3, Q4. So if all works out well, I'll make a decision and say, you know what, I like this works, the market needs it, I get a lot of positive feedback. The goal number 3 would be, if this works out well, resign from my existing position at the bank and go live with this product. So those are like my ultimate goals, both career and business. I also have life goals. Do you want me to discuss those as well? Yeah. So life goals as well on the personal side. I think we all deal with health, but really, I want to make sure that while I'm doing all these things, I get my proper sleep, self-care. Take care of myself, train, work out, eat healthier, because to do this project and to do it well, we want to make sure that we are healthy and we are fit, because it's going to require a lot of energy. We cannot afford to do this project well. I'm going to be working not just the 40, 50 hours at work. I'm going to be working potentially 60, 70 hours a week with this, because I'm on the weekends as well. So I want to make sure that I'm good at home, relationship-wise. Make sure I set expectations properly at home. Always make time for my family as well. And when I'm with the family, that I always I spend time with them and only them for those moments, because I don't want to miss anything as well. I've done that in the past. And then the same thing is to have the energy to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction there. Financially, it's going to be an investment in terms of product development. So I'm going to have to invest not just time, but also money, right? So there's going to be, so the main thing is that I'm going to invest in that money and then eventually have projections as to how much revenue I'm going to generate at the end of the pilot Q1, so I'll be able to make sure that those revenues grow in according to my projected plan. Of course, there's always some assumptions on there, so I'll be making sure that I track those assumptions. From a money perspective, I want to be able to at least break even by Q2, Q3, and then be able to be profitable by the end of Q4. Okay. So that's that's going to potentially, I might have to tap into my savings to actually do this. So from that perspective, while that's happening, I'm also going to be finishing up my book, right? So then this book that I have in terms of draft, the goal is by the end of Q1 to finish this book. It's not going to be, I'm going to have to get somebody to edit it. And, the main thing, I just want to get it published, even if it's not perfect, because I'm a perfectionist, but I got to get the book published it on Amazon and having a sellable product. So I hope to generate sales on that as well. So I'm going to use the book to market the product. I'm going to use the product to market the book. So I'm going to get a lot of, much more leverage marketing, cross marketing there as well. And then be able to, so in the beginning, it'll be young professionals as the target. So college, it'll be college students, 11th, 10th and 11th or second and third year in college is like sweet. It's kind of like a sweet spot. We've done some research on that as well. Mm-hmm. And eventually, once I'm done with every quarter, to be able to follow up on the students / clients of this product, and expect to get some referrals from them as well. So that's from a financial. So I covered career and business goals. I covered life goals, personal goals in terms of health, and then there's goals with my son, at home. So my son's 8 years old. While I'm doing all this, I want to make sure that he keeps up with his schoolwork and grades. So I will continue to do that as well. So I have to dedicate, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, so make sure that he doesn't fall behind in school. So I have those goals as well. So there's a lot on my plate in there. One thing that's really key to all this is at the bottom of this is I have to make some time to develop a relationship with God. So all this, I'm asking God for his blessing, for his guidance, to make sure that he puts me on the proper path, so like that I can succeed. So I'm praying that this is, where he wants me to be, because he thinks I'm gonna be the best to be able to serve people. And the principles of success are God-driven, spiritually driven. So I want to make sure that I'm solid there as well. So I'm going to continue building my relationship with God, getting into the Bible and learning more. And, I'm a Christian already, but, we can always improve. So I want to definitely build my spiritual foundation. So it's going to be tough sometimes. So I want to make sure that I'm good there as well. I've done a lot of that work this year. So this keeps us humble. I want to make sure that whatever money I make with his blessing, that a portion of that goes continues into something good, into some charity. So I have, so I think for me this year is solid. I just want to gain to profitability in terms of the business, proof of concept, get it up and running, and then launch it. And then 2020, 2021, 2020, that'll be able to project even further, revenues further out on the curve in terms of time. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
I like how you set your goals into quarters. Did you learn that from the financial job you have now?
That's right.
That was a question I had, and I was thinking, at first I was like, oh, that's a nice system. And then I said, maybe he learned that from your financial job.
Yeah, from finance. Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah, it's all budget, right? So we all have a beginning budget. We start off with 0 or no money, and you also look at it in terms of time. In the corporate world, everything's quarters. At the same time, if we're asking the question, what are our goals for 2021, 2020, 2021? We're going to look at it like how for you to succeed at the end of Q4. Well, what has to be in place in Q3 so you can deliver the results in Q4?
The foundation.
Yeah.
The foundation for the victory in Q4.
That's correct. So you got to be able to see maybe there's some things that you're not going to see immediate results in Q1, but the things that you do in Q1, you're going to see the results in Q4. So what are those things? So you got to be able to identify. There's some things that are going to help me that I'm going to see the benefit short term. There's going to be some things that you're going to do that you won't see the benefits right away, but it's going to you'll get the benefit this coming year or the following year. So it's both, it's kind of like a sprint sometimes and marathon. So it's a combination of both. And then I break it up into quarters, so I can actually break it down to months, weeks, and even days in terms of the activities that I need to be able to do, and so I can actually measure. Am I doing too much of something? Maybe I'm not doing a sufficient amount for a certain activity. I need to identify those activities as well, and then be able to measure it And the only thing I know is to put into buckets of Q1, Q2, and so on. So again, from buckets, from annual, 1 year, 12 months to quarters, to monthly, and to weekly, to daily, and to even hourly. I mean, that might be too much, but the main thing is that that's the overall framework in terms of time.
No, I like that. And the other thing I liked was I saw that you're going to get feedback for your program
Right.
from people that you've mentored in the past.
Correct.
And you see, there you're making a personal connection, and that more than likely will be your first clients.
That's correct. There's the people that I've helped in the past. They asked me like, "Wow, you're not even charging me for this," and I even helped people like didn't do so strong academically within college, and then eventually the goal is to actually for them to get a job, and I helped them through that transition. I help them as to what they need to say during those interviews when they're discussing the offer, and then once they get the job, what do they do next? So a lot of that, I always say this is kind of like an investment of kind of like goodwill, and eventually once they're done, like they're attached to you forever. They're friends, right? Not friends like in the traditional sense, but there's much more people that you can trust, right? You were there, they needed you, and then they say, well, kind of like, we always talk about compensation. I said, well, what's going to happen is once you get to a position like myself, then you do the same for others. So you pay it forward. All right. So that's kind of like that's how we get compensated. You pay it forward. So far, I kind of do that because it's not like these students have money, right? At the same time, like, I'm not going to charge them like $200 an hour, right? So at the same time, they need the help now. So I help them out now because I have the time. So, for them, they treasure it. They value it a lot. For me, it's like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes here, a quick review here, a quick catch up just to like talk about anything. All those things matter most, especially when young people are going through that transition. So from my perspective, eventually I'm thinking like, these are the ones that are going to help. They're going to know 10 people, 20 people, and they're going to refer them to me because I was there for them when they needed someone. So the idea is that, and I'll get that feedback from them, and then they appreciate that as well. Like, what is it that they liked? That feedback is quality because one, I don't have to pay for that feedback. I'm not paying like an independent party to read something, so it's just like, it's really all, authentic feedback. And I can actually use that to actually strengthen, build the product as I move forward as well.
Very good. And, let me go back. The second question, so thank you for stating your goals. And the next part is, what are your plans for accomplishing your goals?
So one thing, the main thing is that, so the reason why it all kind of came out like relatively quick and organized is because I have everything written down. That took some time to do. I've written everything down. I can visualize it. I see it. So I know exactly what I need to do. Also, while there were some things there, what I was looking at everything that I needed to do is, I also got a coach, because I can't, if I leave things on my own, then it's like, I can say, well, I can postpone for next week. Oh yeah, this week I can't. But once you have somebody independent to keep you accountable, then you have no choice, especially if you pay for it. So once you pay for it, then like no choice, because if you don't do what you need to do, then you're basically throwing away money. Time, you can never get that back as well. So this is the opportunity. You got an idea. This is the time to execute. So if you don't do it now, when is he going to do? You're going to do it next year, the following year, and then 10 years pass by and then you did nothing. Whereas you have a coach, now, so similar to what I always tell other people, you need a coach, you need a mentor, no matter what it is. If you're going to go for, let's say, to the gym, if you try to figure things out on your own, you can do the best thing you can. You can go on YouTube, or you can pay for somebody, and they know, because that is their profession. They're going to take you from where you are, which is basically below zero, to par, and then from there above, right? And you pay for that. I know not everybody has like money, but at the same time, And if you don't, then you have to figure out a way of getting a mentor that's going to do it potentially for free. Nothing's free because the coach, they have their time. So sometimes you get a little help, and it's always good to ask, I always say. But the how is, it's all written on paper. I have a plan. I have conversations on a weekly basis with my coach. And then from there, he asks me, whatever the ideas are, to put it on paper. And then in terms of the how, it's all about, I know exactly what I need to do. What I do is, once I understand exactly the direction in which I want to go and what I want to accomplish, I identify what are the activities that I need to do to make sure that this goal is accomplished. And I write those activities down. Can I do it on my own? Do I need somebody else to help me? Can I, maybe this thing that I need to do, can I delegate that to somebody else? That's okay as well. So I've identified those I call them calls to actions. And sometimes you want to do one thing, but it might take 3 steps. I write that down as well. And then from there, I schedule it on my calendar. And once I schedule on my calendar, it's going to get done. So if I don't schedule it, it won't get done. So it's one of the skills that I teach as well. You want to do something, show me a plan. Not tell me a plan, show me a plan. Now that it's in writing, okay, how are you actually going to execute it? Okay, what are the steps? All the steps. And then from there, you start checking off the steps. So when it comes to execution time, if you got 2 hours to work on your business between 5 and 7 p.m., you'll know exactly the 5 things you need to accomplish. That phone call you need to make, those appointments you need to schedule, the things you need to write, whatever it is, the things you need to publish, the website you need to design. Whatever it is, it's already there, and you just execute. So in 2 hours, you get stuff done that most people will take maybe 8 hours, 2 days, 3 days to get done because they get distracted, right? So once you put it on your calendar, then it gets done. So interestingly, you also need to schedule, at least for me, time to just relax and decompose, because you're gonna need that. You're always like 100%, just going at it. You could also lose your mind as well. So the main thing, you also need to have a balance as well. You need to have balance between your career, your business, and your family and yourself, and God as well. So you need to have that balance. So if you're going to succeed, you will succeed. You don't have to have it. You don't have to do it in 2-3 months. You can do it in 6 months. You could do it in 9 months. And you also got to be ready that if something happens in your life that completely disrupts that, you got to be ready for that as well. And by that, I mean, it could be like the pandemic that disrupted everybody's lives. Yeah. So we also got to be flexible, right? That, it could be someone in your family passing away. Those things, you need time, for family, when we go through those challenging moments. It could be personally, you might get into an accident, you might get sick, whatever it is. Again, time for self-care. So it's a balance. That's kind of like the how I'm going to get these things done. It's by writing it down, scheduling it, and committing to the time that I actually book it, committing to actually taking action on those items.
Yeah, once we write down, we get past that, then you don't have in your language someday. And I think my best example of someday I'll travel to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And usually then people say and then when I retire, and then it's always after whatever, and then they get to, oh, I'm too old or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna travel for the trap. So I look at traveling as kind of like a part of personal development. Yeah, you ain't going anywhere. You can keep dreaming, but until you buy that ticket, that's when you're going. Oh, so when you buy that ticket, when you go to Expedia, and you buy that ticket, and it says you're going on the trip. I don't know, when you click on the button, once you buy it, it says, pack your bags, right? Once you book your ticket, you're going. That's when you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's pie in the sky.
The next question is, which of your goals do you see could be the hardest to achieve or most challenging to achieve?
Uh, it's my career goals. I'm having a challenge with those because over the years, so what I've been doing it for a long time. It's great. You know, for a while, I loved it. I was working 6 days a week. You know, when the markets opened up in Sydney, I would be on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening on a Sunday. And then Monday, I couldn't wait to wake up. So to find out what's going on in the market, looking to see which clients are affected and how my day is going to be. And I was like that from Sunday night all the way to Friday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I followed the markets. I was really like in the zone with the markets, and it was really exciting. I was following gold prices and crude prices and equity prices. So that zone, you know, that was like amazing time for me. Over the years, it kind of like it changed, and then, you know, into the final years where we are now, in terms of, yeah, I'll do the job, but it's not the same as it used to be. So I kind of like a little bit lost interest in it. It doesn't really drive me the same way as before. But someone needs help on something, it's like, oh, I'll help you out. Well, show me your resume. Oh, you're looking to change jobs? Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, you got laid off? We got to talk, right? I can jump on that. That motivates me like right away. Like somebody has an idea to do something, I'm like, oh, why can't you do it? So show me what you have. Show me your plan. You want to start a business? Okay, show me a business plan. Work on it. Okay, I'll even book it. I'll hold them accountable. You know, it's like, all right, you have that business idea. Okay, I want to see a 2-3 page business plan about that idea. So I'll ask them, right? So the next time I see them, I know they're serious or not. That drives me. I like seeing people change. I like seeing people, you know, have ideas and be able to build something. It's like, oh, you have a business idea. Oh, you want to do this? Oh, you want to run a marathon? Oh, you want to lose 100 pounds? Oh, okay, you can do it. You know, you can. All you have to do is make a decision, a quality decision, and you'll get it done. Oh, you need help? I'll help you. You know, how do you need help? That drives me. So it's the to be able to continue to have interest in my career is going to be the biggest challenge while I do what I need to do in the business and helping people that's my passion. So yeah, it's to continue to try to do the job on something that I'm not passionate about as much as I used to be. That's the biggest challenge for me.
No, I'm in the same case. And you know what's interesting? That for me, I'm still working towards my goals. But the pandemic, now I'm doing what I used to do online, and just the change that was forced from it, it took me back a few years.
Mm.
Where I still want to get out, but it just because it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Just the differentness, it just makes it feel, yeah. That
Yeah.
was like a refreshing, like like
Yeah.
a little like breath of fresh air, and like ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when
I
those
get
things
to
happen,
go,
it's like,
as I'm working on my goals now, so I enjoy that. But
yeah,
then
no.
I know it's not gonna last forever. So
Mm-hmm.
that's almost putting more pressure than I'm enjoying this. But I know there's a window where it'll go back to where it was, and it's like motivating it. It's like this is nice. Is it gonna last? Let's get somewhere before it goes back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the main thing is like, okay, you got to look for the opportunity, right? And these things, when these pauses are like these halts,
Mhm.
like
Oh yeah,
where's the opportunity? And then from there, identify that opportunity and go after it.
exactly.
You know, it could be like the reason we're talking right now. Maybe if it wasn't for COVID, you know, maybe you'd probably be doing something else. I'm doing something else. We probably we would have meet and we wouldn't even have this conversation. But now we're here, you know.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't even had the time for this conversation because I'll be working. Whatever it is, like we're here now.
Exactly.
So you just don't know like how you can actually get all these positive things out of something relatively negative. So
Yeah, if your mind is open and you're willing to pivot
that's right. That's
and not
correct.
afraid of pivoting.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
excited to pivot, like, let's go.
Yeah. No, this is the universe telling you, you know, to either stop, you know, take a deep breath. You know, sometimes we're all on that, what do they call that rat race, right? You know,
Mhm.
and you know, this forces you to say, okay, what's really important? Maybe is showing you, the world is showing you like this thing is important that you didn't think was important before, but now like, wait a minute, this is important. Let me focus on this. So that's kind of like, we just have to be in tune with that as well.
Yeah, I just think before I ask the next question that if this was 5 to 7 years ago, half of the stuff that I'm saying or suggesting or anything, I wouldn't know what to say. I'd just be sitting here like, good luck on your goals.
Right.
That'd probably be it.
Mhm.
Happy New Year. Maybe that would be the extent of it.
Yeah, that's right.
What, let me see. What new skills do you feel that you need to learn or expand to achieve your goals?
Oh, yeah, that's really good. It's the, technical skills. There's a lot of tools that, technology tools that I need to get schooled on. I'm in the process of learning those. So that's one, that's much more technical. The other thing is communication, being able to kind of like what we're doing now, be able to, do a podcast, to schedule, to do interviews and talk to people and ask them the right questions, to be a better listener. So be able to do a speech, right? Someone calls you out and like, okay, you got 10 minutes to be able to tell everyone about your business, then to go out there and do a pitch. You may not have 10 minutes. You might have a minute to do a pitch. Can you do that pitch? Things like that. So I think communication, be able to do a sales pitch, being able to persuade others is really important as well. Persuade people, to take action, right? And I think the last thing is, influencing, to influence others. Yeah, so communication, be able to deliver a speech with passion, at any time, give you a topic and just go out there and do a presentation and knock it out of the ballpark. Persuading others to take action or ideas, and influencing others. I think those are 4 skills we all need to know, or we all need to master.
Technical, that was a big one for me. I do have a website and I'm working on some products and stuff to put on there. But part of the thing was like, I don't know how to make a website. I don't blah blah blah. I need some, and then I learned a little something from somebody, and I just watched the videos. And then what happened was I was able to do 99.8% of it on my own. And then my person that's kind of my tech person, then, and that's respecting his time instead of, oh, I'm going to make a website and he's got his own priorities. But if I put all the full faith effort, and it's like I literally did everything I could and I'm just below achieving that.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I put in all the effort, took him 5 to 7 minutes to help me.
Yeah.
And that was the little thing that I needed. And I wasn't there to the goal, but I could smell it. I could taste it. And 5 to 7 minutes, and respect his time. And he's more apt to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. There's something I need help with. And I'm predicting it'll take him 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But it's keeping me from this little thing, but the 1.5 minutes or less.
Yeah. The main thing is that technology, you can either pay somebody else to do it, right? You can actually go on Fiverr and then hire somebody for very low money.
That's true too.
And just hire it, because you don't want to waste any time, because you don't want to relearn something. I mean, if you want to learn it, that's great. Do the grind, no problem. But if you don't have the time, sometimes if you don't have the patience, go on Fiverr, hire somebody else. That's his specialty. This is what I want to do, get it done. And then, but you can never pay somebody else to help you become a better influencer. You can never pay somebody else for you to become a better communicator. So those things you can't buy. Technology you can buy, but the other things you can't.
For you to for the technology part, are you reading books? There's somebody that you're going to.
I go on YouTube, yeah.
YouTube.
But even YouTube is there's so much information on it, you don't know. So you want to go to the latest, the latest version. So yeah, just because I have the time. But and things are relatively. I'm not a technology person, So if I can do things for my,
Neither.
yeah, it's the information's out there. But again, if you're not, and even invest in somebody else, let them do it. And then maybe you can tell them like, look, I'm gonna pay you, but can you also teach me? They'll teach you. So, but you don't want to spend too much time building a website because you still have to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing too. Sometimes we get stuck on building a website, a color, a format, this and that, and you just spent like 3 months doing a website. You haven't, generated $1 in revenue, so that's not good.
That's so true. And then you can always go back and make it a little better. And
Correct.
that's what I did with my YouTube channel. The microphone I have and these backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera. It just came with time. I was like, okay, and I just started putting out videos and being consistent.
That's right. I agree.
And then just by doing that, at first when I put out the first videos for a while, maybe the first 100, I would look at it and it didn't really seem like me. But over time, then I could recognize me, and then it just seems like, because it's one thing speaking in front of a group, but then there's another thing, you're speaking in front of a camera, and you have to speak like you're speaking in front of a group, and that's...
Well, like this goes for anybody, when you go on YouTube and you build your channel, that's not easy. Not too many people do it. People like myself, everything needs to be perfect. So I can take action, which is a negative. But then, how many videos do I have on my YouTube channel? A few, handful, not 5, 6. Where somebody who doesn't, for them, it doesn't need to be perfect. They'll have, 100 videos, right? And they got all these likes and subscribers and things like that. Like that is work, right? If you're gonna compare your work ethic versus my work ethic when it comes to social media, building content, someone's gonna look at what you've done and say, oh, well, look at the work you've put in. You can actually demonstrate that you did the work. Whereas they'll look at my channel and say, well, are you really serious about building a business on social media? I haven't seen your work. So it doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is that you get the content up there, upload it, and move on. You get better over time. But at least you'll be able to deliver show the world, provide evidence, and demonstrate to them that, look, I'm really doing this. This is my channel. See my portfolio. So there's a lot of value there.
Yeah, there's one of my favorite YouTube videos I got was just before I had a boost.
Mm.
I had people, even a friend from going back to middle school, saying that, oh, blah, 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 you should quit and all this thing. And then there was different things I was working on. It was all in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
So then I came up with a video called Why I Should Quit According to Several Experts.
Right.
And instead
of, now I want to hear it. I want to see that. So
instead of like, oh, maybe they're right and all this, I just said, look, and it's and one of the things that happened, I think that same week, I was like, I couldn't believe it. People, when you have goals, people, no matter what you do, there'll be critics.
Right.
I didn't think that the place where I worked on my goals, when I could get the Wi-Fi and all that, can't now, Starbucks, the place where I work on my goals, there would be critic. I was told, why are you going there? It's too liberal. And I'm not thinking of politics or anything. Right. I'm just looking, I like the Wi-Fi and I like talking to the people and I like that setting. So the place where you work on your goals, I never thought that would be critiqued. That cracked me up. That cracked me up. Okay, the next one is, what obstacles could stand in your way of accomplishing your goals?
Yeah, in terms of obstacles,
we can never totally predict. We can never.
Yeah, no, obstacles is much more allowing myself to get distracted. I'm interested in a lot of things. I want to read every book. I want to solve every problem in the world. I want to be able to understand what's going on over here. So staying focused is a major obstacle for me. Sometimes I'll go and I like to learn. I like to, I'll learn about like ancient civilizations. I'll read something, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And then I'll just go in that rabbit hole and I won't come back for like 2-3 days. Just like really into it because I want to know and I want to learn. And I'll come back and I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I can't wait to go to that country. So it's getting to avoid being distracted. Social media, it's a distractor. On Twitter, I like politics, and that thing is hot right now, especially here in the US. So all of a sudden, like, that might distract me as well, so those are the obstacles. I'm like my worst enemy when it comes to that. I'll find some book that I'm interested in, and it's like 300 pages, and then I'll schedule reading a book, or I'll schedule audiobooks. So I know myself when I set goals in the past, especially like weight training goals, right? Gym goals. And then like you're all excited, and then you start in the beginning, all of a sudden you start fading away. Why? Because you get distracted. So I have a habit of doing those things in the past. I know myself. I know what I need to do. That's why I need my calendar. My calendar is the tool that I utilize to avoid being distracted. So once I book it, it gets done. So I just need to continue doing that. Or if I allow myself to get distracted, that just means that I wasn't really serious. Maybe I should just give up this business and maybe do something else, go back to work, or, but I'm never going in that direction. I'm 100% going on the business direction. But the main thing is the obstacles is myself. Luckily I've reduced over the years the amount of distraction. Like I minimized how much time I was spending on YouTube, listening to stuff. Minimize the amount of books. Even travel. I used to travel a lot as well. I minimize that as well. So yeah, in terms of obstacles, I'm like my own worst enemy. But again, the tool that I have to offset that risk is my schedule. I live on that. So.
Now the big one for me was when I X'd out TV.
Oh yeah.
That was a big one. And now I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I'll listen to the game or watch the game, and that's like 1 hour, and that's it.
Yeah. Eliminated TV.
When my team's eliminated, I'm done. I don't watch playoffs or.
and you gotta be careful with
I'm done, man. When they're eliminated, TV's eliminated.
The next thing is like Netflix is another thing as well. Like, you watch the series, you watch one of those short series, and then all of a sudden, there goes your weekend. Those you just spent like 16 hours of your life on this show.
Once you start, it's hard to stop.
But the only thing is like, it doesn't mean that you're gonna deprive yourself, but just allow yourself. It's like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna watch this, and then that's it. Like, but just know it, be aware, that you still got things to do. So, like I was saying, you gotta also allow some time for fun. Because you got to smell. Yeah, life is short, and you got to smell the coffee too. So it doesn't mean you're gonna be all, running around and doing everything, and then before you know it, like you just wasted like 6 months of your life, and you haven't really done anything for you. So you got to take care of yourself.
Oh,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
The TV will come back. I'm single right now, but it'll come back if I'm in a relationship. It's one of those things, it's quality time and that sort of thing.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And then there's a common thing to talk about, of course.
Yeah.
And have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's that deep that you can have a different perspective. Not some of those.
Well, when I do watch television, though, it's not like it's like sports or anything that's news. It'll be much more like, it'll be like a documentary. So a lot of things that I do watch are documentaries. So a lot of the ideas help me in terms of expanding on ideas as well. So I look at that as an investment of my time. Sometimes, I just got to be careful. Like, luckily I'm not into sports, but I have friends that when they watch sports, especially like soccer, like they really get like all in, and they spent, or there's families that they spend like Sundays, all day, Saturday and Sundays, just like watching game after game, basketball.
Especially when the World Cup's going on, there's games on all the time.
Yeah, no, World Cup, I'll take a break for that.
All hours. Is there anyone who could help you with your goals? I remember earlier you talked about the mentor you have.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, so I'm usually I go to work, I have my peers there and my coworkers there, and then and then I come home, and then that's it. I have friends outside as well, but it's much more social. In terms of people that I know, like relatively not many are like, I don't know too many entrepreneurs. I do know people that are strong in terms of developing their social media. And so I look outside for mentors, people that have already developed, the content. And so, in the end, like I'll get one person, which is the business coach. I hired a business coach that will, wanted that they've done what I've already been, what I'm looking to do. So they have a track record. So it's not like, theory. And then I've seen their product as well. So therefore, with that person, I'm like fully engaged. And so that's the person that can actually help me. Of course, that's an investment that's an investment, right? So for them, that's the person. The other person that can actually help me is here at home. Because I need, my family's support in the building of this product, in the building of this business. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that home team is happy, right? Because if home team is not happy, then I'm not gonna be able to do anything else. So
exactly. A lot of people forget that, or they don't put it in perspective.
Yeah. No, definitely. And you don't want to come home and have like discussions, fights about you not spending time, So I want to make sure that is taken care of as well, to enable you to have somebody else help you, and then you can invest your time wisely. Exactly. That'll be the short of it.
That is so true. And that's a thing. A lot of times people are teaching business at these colleges, never had their own business.
Correct. You'll still get an A, but it's,
and I can regurgitate the facts that you can. I'll write the essay. I can write the essay.
I know. The main thing is like,
I know how to do that.
Yeah, it's great to have an entrepreneur, at least maybe if that person who's an academic can actually teach you how to get the A from, to pass the test, but you really need that life experience. That person, if let's say if I'm a professor, it would be the right thing for me to do to get practitioners in the classroom and interact. That would be part of it. That part is not in the book. That part is not in the book.
So true.
Yeah, because you want to learn, where the things that the risks that they took, the times that they lost, the times that they failed. There's a lot of lessons to be learned there, and of course, the time that they succeeded. Most people just look at the time they succeeded. They don't know all the 5-10 times they failed in the past, and where they felt like losers, they felt bad, they felt terrible, bankruptcy, whatever it is, start all over again, divorces, this and that, and then finally they made it, So that's why people think it's like, oh wow, I can just start a business, become millionaires. No, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be like if you accomplished your goals? How would it feel, and what do you think it would bring you?
If I was to accomplish my goals, in that case, I look at it as my definition of freedom. Be able to realize my dream. I'll be able to say no more job, and that means that every hour of my day counts. I get the rewards on the investment of my time is relatively unlimited. I can get my time back. Yeah, I'll be busy, but I can actually choose where to work from. I can, spend time with family as well and work. I'll have control of my time, my calendar. I can take some time off as well if I want to, as long, and I'll have ways to have income while I'm like not working. So I'll develop different forms of income. So basically it's my time back. I've spent over the past many years, working, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week sometimes, giving up a lot of things. But now I'll be able to get the time back and be able to do things that I've always wanted to do: travel, train, run marathons, take other and take on other interests as well. So, but I think the biggest thing is the people that I help, for them to be able to grow, right, and progress forward, and get that degree, or start that business, or develop some a financial cushion, whatever it is that they wanted to accomplish, for them to say, oh yeah, Aldo was my mentor, or the business that he built helped me get to where I am. I read books, I've taken courses, but this person or this group made sure that I got it done. They helped me accountable, so that would be the ideal, so I can enjoy. Eventually I'll meet with them, we'll hang out, and spend time and talk about things. And eventually, once whatever they've accomplished, all right, so what are you going to do now? Right. What's going to be your next business, and then it just keeps going.
Awesome. Yeah. And then it keeps the fire alive too. Exactly.
That's correct. Yes.
How are your goals in alignment with your values?
Yes. So the short answer to that is, I went through this transition. In the end, I look at my goals are in alignment with my spiritual, kind of like a spiritual foundation, right? I want to do God's work. So whenever I talk to people, I'm going to say, look, these ideas, I put this together and everything, but these are inspired by, a power above, right? These are all God's principles, about serving others, doing the right thing always, living a good life, a quality life, right? These values are based on Christian values, but it doesn't have to only be Christian. It could be, any God, any religion. The main thing, and if somebody doesn't believe in God, then these are like universal values. So the main thing is that when you make a life decision that is based on your own personal values, based on what you believe is right. So for me to do that, I need to do that for myself. So I've gone through that of what are the things that I believe in, right? I may not be right, I'm going to still make mistakes. But when I make decisions, it'll be based on values that makes me kind of like a better person, to be a good example. I have kids now, so then they're going to ask me questions. And when they're going to say, Dad, what do you think about this? Right? And sometimes we don't know as a parent, like, oh, wow, that's a good question. So I kind of have those responses. And part of the book and the training that I'm thinking about is I want young people to develop those set of values, that to make sure that all their actions, all their life decisions are going to be based on the set of values that they've already thought about. A quick example is, I became a dad at a young age, right? So then I went with the physical, right? Like, oh, I had first girlfriend, got together, she's beautiful, and then all of a sudden started a family, right? And just not, you can't go back and correct those things, but, or I could have made a better decision if I had the right set of values at the time. I definitely had the right parents. It's just as a young person, I never, thought about like living my life in an organized way and things like that. I never had that mentorship. The right thing should have been careers is more important. Yeah, you'll meet people and things like that, but you can't start a family until you have all these other things set in place. And then from there, you can start a family, right? As opposed to starting a family with someone relatively random in life. And so the main thing is that you need to have those, for me, this business, career, my family, my health, all these things are prioritized and balanced. And because those are consistent with my set of values, which much more living a good life, a Christian life, putting God first, right? Staying humble as well, and being okay to fail, not judging others and things like that, and accepting criticism, being thick-skinned because we're gonna go through those moments. That's kind of like how I keep everything, all my goals. I make sure that everything that I do is consistent with my set of values, like what we're doing right now. Everything that I'm sharing with you, this conversation, there's going to be people, thousands of people that are going to watch this. They're going to be inspired by this. Is the hope, is the expectation. The reason I'm here is because I'm like, oh, maybe there's something that I can do to serve. So here we are serving. So hopefully that's kind of like why I do these things in general. So everything that I do is kind of like volunteer. It doesn't only necessarily need to be for money, but what I want to do is be able to take this concept and then put into a business model and be able to monetize it and then be able to do some great things, for relatively little cost.
Same here. And yeah, values is like your ink our anchor,
Hmm. That's correct.
keeping ourselves grounded.
Yeah, values on, how are you going to treat yourself in terms of health? Are you going to eat this big, sandwich with a large Coca-Cola, or are you going to eat like a great salad with a little bit of meat? It's like you got to take care of yourself, getting the right nutrients, making better decisions, right? A lot of these small decisions, you got 2 hours. Are you going to read a book, or are you just going to like, sit on the, get a bottle of liquor and just drink it and, get drunk, whatever it is, right? So it's
Exactly.
values.
Oh no, this. Oh, I'll get back to him. Actually, yeah, just who called me. If I didn't have my goals,
Mhm.
that person wouldn't have been calling me.
Mhm.
I've basically traveled without traveling. The person who called me, I I had to change my diet
Mm.
because I was diagnosed as diabetic. So I
Okay.
started going to an Arabic restaurant,
Mm.
and then I became friends with the family. And then the cook over there, he knew from back in his home country around Bethlehem. He said, "I known him since he was a boy. Could you rent a room to him?" And now live with a family that rents from me from the country of Jordan.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I'm learning Arabic. So if I didn't have my goals, sometimes our goals can shift us in directions we're not even attempting to go, and it almost creates like a fun adventure.
Those goals, once you have them written and you see them, that's why people can't sleep at night, because they're thinking about like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do on these things? And they have an idea or multiple ideas, and it's just in their head, and they can't sleep before it's like 4 a.m, right? Or you can just write them down, right? Get your sleep, because in the morning they're still in front of you, and then everywhere you
Mhm.
go, these are your goals, and like, okay, let me get this done, let me get that done, let me get that done.
And writing it down is the first level of commitment.
Very powerful. I
Before
agree.
I write something, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
now like I said earlier, I'm stuck at someday. I'm just going to keep on saying someday.
Yep, I agree. And by having them in front of you, you'll be able to visualize them as well. That's very powerful too.
Exactly. Which of your goals is personally the most important for you to accomplish?
Yes. I think I think overall the business goals is something that is personal, and the reason why, not because of the money part, it's to be able to um, you build something, you develop something. These ideas uh, all come from personal life experiences. And the idea here is that um, my kids, let's say something happens to me today, my 8-year-old son, he's going to be living his life without a father, right? And like, what are the life lessons that, when I leave this earth, and I'm thinking, I wish I should write everything down. And so in that case, he's like, if I'm still alive, he would, if I was still in his life, then he can actually hear me talk about, all right, son, this is what I think about relationships. This is what I think about religion. This is what I think about this. This is how you should live your life. So all this advice. So I think getting my life story, as if I have like a week left, and everything that I learned and what I want the people that I know to learn and do to have a better life, I want to be able to capture that. And if I can actually build a business model based on that, that's even better. So I think that's the most personal for me, because eventually this book goes to, I have a 30-year-old son, I have a 25-year-old daughter, I have a 14-year-old son, and an 8-year-old as well. I also have a grandson as well. This book is kind of like their message on how to live their life, right? And then the idea is like, you share that information, that process, those ideas with thousands of others that are out there, other kids that, may not have both parents, or they might have both parents, but the parents aren't, they're focused on other things in life. And that young person is basically in the world by themselves, right? I would like them to have like one book they can point to, like, okay, now I know what I need to do, in everything, right? Finance and relationships and friendships, and, and how do they live a life. So that's why this business I put it in this business in a vehicle of a business model of a business idea, but it's kind of like that's my proof of concept. So it has to succeed. It has to succeed because then in the end I'm saying this is the door that I built, like my friend. This is my door, right? So this is for me. This is my door, and I'll be able to hand this off, and they can do good things. So that's the short of it there.
Exactly. No, I like that. And I like how you're hitting several areas. It's not like, okay, had a job in finance and blah, blah, blah finance. I like how it's hitting all areas because
Yeah.
it's the whole thing of fulfillment in all areas of life. And I like that.
Yeah, it comes down to that, to being fulfilled, right? To be able to say, okay, I can leave this world because I've done my job, in a sense. This is my project, so.
Exactly. Will your goals benefit others? I say it's an absolute yes. That was the next question.
Yes. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions if possible, around the world, because I imagine that it'll be translated to different languages. So yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and you want to get it into other languages. Yeah, that's really
cool. Especially,
we can do that. We can do that now.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's especially like in other countries, right? In the US, we have this, we have YouTube, we have all this information overloaded. And the world has this information overloaded as well, but you don't have that human connection. You don't have that one-on-one mentorship that's missing. I just came back from Guatemala 2 months ago, and when I've traveled through South America and Central America, a lot of young people, they're hungry, for success, right? They're hungry to get things done, but the government's there. They may not be able to. They don't enable opportunities to come to them. So they kind of like, these kids are just like stagnant, right? In terms of their upward mobility, in terms of ideas, entrepreneurship. They basically take what they can get. So it's, I don't want to say mediocrity is okay, but then their governments should offer them opportunity. In the US, there's plenty of opportunity. So mentorship, you can actually transfer that and export it to other countries as well. So Africa, that's another big continent. That's another story right there. Just tremendous potential in the world. It's underutilized, and so I expect, hopefully, this book to be able to inspire, those young people to just break out and, go out there and make a big difference in the world. So
exactly, and go for it.
Yeah, agree.
Go for it. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your goals?
Yes. Well, I definitely don't want to sacrifice my values. I think I sacrifice my time. I'll sacrifice my time. I'll sacrifice my career because I'm good there. So I'm willing to give up the career. I'm willing to give up my time. Overall, it's kind of like I have this attitude, like whatever it takes. I don't want to go into debt. I don't want to. I want it to be an investment, a small investment, get big returns. But if it requires a bigger investment, I'll go into my savings and take a dip there and be able to realize it. The other thing I don't want to say, but I kind of, we all do that anyway, is we are sacrificing family time, whether we like it or not. And sometimes we sacrificing our health as well, so that's why I want to keep everything in balance. So that's why, as I move in this journey, as I move forward and progress things, I want to make sure that I keep everything in balance as I move forward.
Exactly. How will you feel when you accomplish your goals?
No, I feel elated. I feel accomplished. I feel, I feel like I want to do more. So, I'll feel, grateful is the key word.
I like grateful and I can do more, and you'll figure out what that means
That's
as you
correct.
get there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I know you
It's
will.
yeah, it would be grateful and just being humble as well. I don't want to have like exact like, oh, I did this and I did that. It's like, no, this is God's plan, God's work. So it's and with God is like unlimited potential.
How are your goals measurable? How will you know when you achieve them?
Definitely. So everything that I have is measurable. So I'll know. My calendar will tell me. The revenues will tell me. You know, and the people that I help will tell me. Right. So if at the end of the year I haven't helped one person, it's my fault. If I helped 1,000 people, then that's how I'm gonna know. It's people's feedback. It's the thank you letters. It's their recommendations, the referrals. That's kind of the book sales. That's how I'm gonna know overall. But the main thing is like I'll be able to eventually the partners that I'm gonna make, the groups and partners that I'll establish, and the people that I'm gonna be able to help through those partnerships as well. So in the end, it's going to be the amount of people that I've helped that I expect would grow geometrically over time.
Exactly. All right. I'm thinking that your financial, you have like two things, and I think your financial background and the numbers will help you in this too, and help you because a lot of people they're constantly setting goals. They just say, I want to lose weight. How much do you want to lose? Et cetera, et cetera. And you have like quantitative things that will totally be measurable and help you keep on track.
That's correct, and that's it comes down
With
to
a number, we're just kind of, I think we can lose direction and kind of lose interest
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. No, it's identifying the list of activities because in the end, working in the bank is kind of like working in operations, right? It's the list of activities that like the losing weight in terms of it's not just I want to lose 30 pounds. Is that these are the list of activities that I need to focus on, and the goals are to complete these list of activities, and I do them often until the result is I lose the weight, right? It's not losing the weight is not the goal. The goal is the result. It's the things that we do and to continue doing them over and over again in different ways as well to make it fun. So that, and then the result, I lose the weight, the pounds as well. So yeah, I'm not focused on the money. I'm focused on the list of things that I need to do over time that in the end will result in a business that will result in a financial success. So
Exactly. And helping others. Exactly. What daily routines will you follow to achieve your goals?
okay, so daily routine. Definitely waking up early in the morning. As I'm a morning person. Actually, I'm an evening person as well. But it's waking up 7 o'clock in the morning, start my day. I already have a calendar that's filled of things that I need to do, and I do that between Monday through Thursday. On Friday is a day in which kind of like I want to say is a rest day, but it's a day of kind of like standing down, finishing up some things, but actually preparing for the following week. So on Friday afternoons, I spend time looking at my schedule for the following week and the following 2 weeks actually, but mostly next week, booking my appointments, reminders and things like that. On the weekends, Saturday, especially now, I'm spending much more time working on the business itself, writing the book, doing a lot of the activities as well, but much more time on my own. Family's around, but it's really time on my own. And then Sundays, Saturday afternoons is much more time for family, and then Sundays is all day with family. So that one day, Sunday, is day where I spend time with people that I love, friends, social gatherings and so on. Everyone, the other hours are just much more spent in investing in the time. So time in the business. So that's from a time scheduling perspective. That's what I'll be focusing on. And during the weekdays, I want to make sure that I don't want to spend any time on doing things that I'm not going to get any value out of. Wasting time watching Netflix or YouTube or things like that. If I want to hear something, if I want to read a book, I'll do audio, and I do it while I'm working out. Sometimes I can't go to sleep, so I'll read something or I listen to something. I also want to make sure I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and I get my training done. Half an hour to 1 hour a day, maybe 4 times a week, is okay. So definitely that's kind of like how I'm going to be scheduling my time.
Exactly. Until it's scheduled, it doesn't get done. This one I already have the answer.
Okay.
Do you write down your goals? Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely.
Yes.
Without question.
I look at them, and I'm not also afraid to adjust as well. 1 week, let's say I didn't do so well this week in terms of goals. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to move this over to the following week, and I'm not gonna beat myself up about it as well. Of course, if I have some extra time to get some stuff done, I'll do a little bit more. So you gotta be flexible. Some weeks you're gonna be tired. You're just not gonna feel it. Maybe you have a whole full day and just like, today's not a good day for me to do things. You gotta allow yourself, those moments. Sometimes we go through stuff in life. You gotta allow yourself. We're not robots. We're human beings.
True. Yeah.
So because I beat myself up if I'm like not doing something. So as a result, like no. Today and tomorrow, stuff is happening. Cancel everything, move things over. And if you have good relationships with people, it's not a problem as well. And just take care of yourself. Sometimes we need time, to just like do nothing, and maybe take one day or two and just go out hiking, and just recalibrate. Just kind of like a short-term reset. And then when you get back into it, you'll be brand new. Everything's gonna be fine. So
yeah, I think we deep down inside, we know when we need a reset, but then we don't listen.
Yeah, correct. And then we're unhappy.
I think it's just like we'll listen to our bodies. Oh, I'm thirsty, I'll drink. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm hungry, I'll eat. Mm-hmm. Oh, I need a reset. And then that doesn't happen.
That's right.
But we'll do the basic things, and it's just
what happens is it accumulates. And eventually it'll catch up to you. So the body always wins sometimes. So if we're sleeping like 3-4 hours a night, it's no good.
And then we shove it to the side.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If it's shoved too many times, it can only be shoved so many times.
That's why part of in terms of goals is it's really taking care of fitness and mind. If you work out, that actually helps brain development. You sleep better. If you sleep better, it's actually good for your body. If you eat the right foods, now you're feeding good energy, good nutrients, good vitamins. You have a strong immune system. All these things is a balance. You start eating junk, you start drinking too much alcohol, you start doing, so all of a sudden that catches up to you. Mm-hmm. If the body doesn't work, that means the mind doesn't work. And if that doesn't work, then everything else is going to be, unaligned and not aligned at all. So
exactly. And a lot of times people ignore these things because that time they're doing it, that one time, it's not going to have major consequences. It's the buildup.
That's correct.
It's not one specific time. It's not.
Yeah.
If you plan out your goals, I definitely say you planned them out.
That's only from so many times I failed to plan. So this is years. Yeah, I've tried many things in the past. Yeah, and there were times that people like I say that I'm gonna do things, and it's like I don't even believe myself because it's just like. But now, when you hold yourself accountable, the accountability is key. So when you tell other people too, when you tell other people that you're gonna do something, then they're gonna say, "Oh, where are you on that?" Right? And you feel like you're failing. So you get a professional, you get a coach. And they'll keep you on.
I don't know if you're familiar, but I came up with my own way of keeping myself accountable. Mm-hmm. So I use graduating as a symbol of graduating into a new life.
Oh, okay.
So what I do is I tell everyone I'm going to graduate. Mm-hmm. And then you have these goals. Graduation day is when the goals are due. Then you invite friends, relatives, and neighbors to this
That's awesome.
graduation.
Yeah.
You wear a cap and gown. You come out with the music, and nobody knows what you're graduating from until they show up. Now
Uh,
you put the ultimate pressure that each time I accomplish something, I have to give a speech. And each time I feel more confident, like I can say this, I can say that until I accomplish something, and you can't back out. So you have all the people come, and then you tell nobody what it is,
mm,
because at first I was real careful because you're fighting your own doubt.
right. Mm,
And now I share just with certain people that I know that have similar goals or a similar mindset now, where instead of I don't think or blah, 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 because sometimes there's a thing that happens, there's a subconscious thing where they'll have certain perceptions of who you are. And it's like the story they tell, we tell stories about ourselves, but people tell stories about other people. But then if things don't fit that, now they don't know how to react to you, because it's like, now they don't know because it's not fitting this little box. And then there's another thing, they could care a lot about you, but subconsciously, instead you get to hear their fears
mm,
of why they wouldn't do it,
right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So at the graduation, nobody knows what it is, and they think the entertaining part of the graduation is they'll keep on asking everyone, what is it graduating from? What did you accomplish? And they think that if they keep on asking and asking and asking, eventually I had to have confided in somebody.
It's
And then they
right.
find out it's nobody.
Mhm. I mean, that's actually really powerful. Like, I always like to use that concept, the power of the spoken word. That once you say something, it's gonna happen, and that is sometimes hard to keep yourself accountable. So when you tell other people that you're gonna do something, you know, now like other people are waiting for you to do it. So that added pressure, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? But that added pressure, actually, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
no,
that is like
I
now you
do.
got
I
no
do.
choice, no choice to do it, no choice. You know,
So then I
and
say what my goals were from the last graduation, and then everyone draws numbers, and then if I didn't accomplish a certain thing, then
right.
I have to pay a fine.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's even better. That's even
and
better.
then what I do, instead of handing somebody $30 or whatever,
Mhm.
instead I write out a check, because it really sinks in. If I just hand you the money, it's like, oh, okay. But if a signing and he's actually doing this, and you're signing your name away and you rip it out. So
That's actually really powerful right there, because if you don't do it, then like it's gonna be pain, right? And we don't want to feel that pain, so you're gonna do it. You're gonna get
exactly.
it done.
And then I used the school model, and then I was like, I did 4 years and I called it high school. Then
Yeah,
I did 2 years, and I like 2 years better because it's more pressure. And then I go, I don't want to stop. Like the next one is the bachelor's, then there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
master's and doctor, and I'm like, it? I want to still have goals. And
Hmm.
then I came up with a system. I was thinking karate, first degree, and I go, first degree what?
Right.
And then I said first degree badass. So
Mm.
it goes from the first degree badass to the 10th degree badass. And the final degree is called the ultimate badass. So now I'm busy for the next 22 years, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do. So I kind of have a structure for 22 years. And I'm doing it in fun too. I'm
Yeah.
serious about my goals, but I'm doing it in a fun way too, not getting too
You gotta make
rigid
it fun.
about it.
Yeah,
I
because if it's
gotta
boring, yeah,
do it
just
as fun.
yeah, you gotta make it fun. You gotta make it fun for everyone around you as well. You gotta be able to laugh.
Exactly. Okay. I think you did cover what will keep you from accomplishing your goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's like anything else. Sometimes you make a little mistake. Let me cross that out.
It's
We
okay.
made it. We made it to the finish line.
That's great. That's great. Nah, this is really good because like
I hope this
I'm
gave.
look I'm looking at this like I actually verbalized a lot of the things that's in my head, right? And so I'm actually verbalizing it. So as I'm reading, if I'm telling you these things, is like there's more things that I told you that I haven't written down, and now I'm gonna go back and write
Oh,
everything
that's
down.
really, oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and so now, because now I want to be able to tell you, hey, I did this, I didn't do this, or or I did this, but it didn't work out. So I want to be able to give you that fair feedback, and I want to be able to measure it. So I'm gonna go back and write things down and adjust. I kind of have like more clarity. Talking to you, I got more clarity on some things.
Oh,
So
awesome.
that is really powerful. It's more than I expected. So I got a lot to do this year. 2021, 2020, 2021. It's this whole transition. Yeah, I got big dreams, and I think this is the year that I need to get it done. And I think having this conversation is, for some reason, somehow, kind of like solidified it. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
really cool. And that's the thing, that when we meet in June, then it's like the sport thing. You're coming up with your game plan, and then the questions will help develop like halftime adjustments.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then
you
we
got
can
something here. Yeah, you got something
really,
here.
really be like a
Yeah,
steamroller.
whether you realize it or not, I think you have something here, because myself, this is like a relatively new journey for me. So by me sharing all these things with you, me getting much more out of it, I think that I was able to kind of like visualize exactly where I want to be in, like, the hour or so. Was kind of like a roadmap of what's coming. So it's kind of like really good to verbalize it.
Yeah, and feel it more. Feel
Mhm.
it more.
That's correct.
Than just writing it down. Almost feel it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, what I found is when I do YouTube videos, I have these little ideas and I'm thinking of things and concepts, but to have to verbalize the concepts, that really is so powerful, because
Hmm.
then I keep on, even after a while, I start getting the structure of how am I going to verbalize these concepts and make them more understandable.
Right.
and and how I say it will develop over time, but it can't develop if I don't keep on saying.
Right.
And it just, and then from that I'll get more ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing I did forget. I remember one of the things you're focusing on is your message and speaking.
Mhm.
So I was wondering, have you in the past sometime done Toastmasters? You're familiar with Toastmasters?
Oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah, it's
Oh,
I tried it out in the past, and it's really good. I think I need more of it. I think for some reason, and I don't know why, but one of the things I do remember is it's easy to start, let's say a speech, um, but it's good to know like what you're gonna say at the end, like how are you
okay.
gonna end it, and once you know like how you're gonna end it, then you can start it. So
I
for
find
me,
that with books.
yeah, that's kind of like a message. So someone called me one time because the at a wedding, right? The guy that was supposed to speak didn't show up, so they just needed somebody to say like some good things. And
Hmm.
so I had the final message, what I wanted to say, which is really what I wanted to say. Like if I had like one thing I had to say to the couple, like this is it. So I already had that in my head. So then in Toastmasters, not that I was attending like all the time, but then from there, once I knew the final message, I did the speech, and then you lift up the glass and you say the message, and then that's the end. So that's kind of like what I learned. Um, but could I improve? Definitely. I would definitely need to take some courses in how to give a speech.
Yeah, what I did, which was fun, was before I set up my YouTube channel,
Mm,
Toastmasters was me basically doing my first YouTube videos that weren't filmed. So I
right.
was thinking of things I wanted to say on YouTube and practice the concept. So that was a year I was practicing the concept. So the first YouTube video was my, oh, this is just so different. Okay. Was my first graduation.
Okay. Right.
And then what happened was a lot of the people I invited, it was in my backyard, set up all the chairs and stuff and the whole thing. We had the music, I come out. And the thing that was funny was I invited a lot of the people from my Toastmasters.
Mm.
But then all of a sudden, before I start, they go, "Oh, there's a new book, like with speeches and stuff." And they said, "You're gonna give a speech. We can make this count for Toastmasters." And I'm like, "What?" So then I'm like, and then I just go with the flow. I go, "Okay, yeah." And they go, "It can fit for this one. You're gonna doing your first speech in this book." And I'm like, "Okay." So then we had it like a Toastmasters meeting where this person said, "I'm the general evaluator." They introduced themselves before the graduation, and I gave my speech. "I'm the general evaluator, this, and all these." And then I'm like, "This guy's the general evaluator?" I go, "Of what? Of my backyard? Is he gonna judge if there's weeds in the corner or what?"
Do you still go to Toastmasters, or do you just work on the YouTube videos and be able to use that as the way
I
to train?
will go back. One of the goals I'm working on is, and I'm solidifying today, is I want to there's a process where you try to qualify to give a TED Talk. So that's something that I'm working on. So before I go, I will go back to a couple of Toastmasters groups I was in. One was a regular one and one was for business. And I will just go out there and that'll be another opportunity to get feedback and stuff for that.
Yeah.
So I definitely will be going back.
Got it.
And now that I'm talking about it, I'll find out if it's at the library, blah, blah, blah. No, it's in maybe I can't go. It was in a senior, I probably can't go. They probably have a different place. Or maybe it's online. It was in a senior citizen thing, and I don't think that's going to work right now.
Yeah. It's already all Zoom now.
Now that I think about it, that sounds like maybe the I don't see it now, but it might be like this online. All right. Oh, thank you for your time, and
Thank you so much.
I'm really looking forward to helping you. I have questions to help you like come up with halftime adjustments, and we'll see what was working, what didn't, so we can finish strong in the second half and win the football game and get this going.
Sounds good. No, thank you so much for your time as well.
About this, I'm pumped up on my
Oh,
own
me
goal.
too. Like I'm like I gotta like go to back my notes and everything. Like, I was gonna do this in Q1 and Q2, Q3, Q4, so I better like write out all the details. No, but I really appreciate your time and thank you for asking all these great questions. So look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you very much. And this ends the second episode of Goal Fulfillment.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Get your goals going.